Next up is a returning speaker to the 21 convention. I had the pleasure to introduce him just a few months ago in London. Amazing speech. Can't wait to hear what Yaron's got in store for us today. This is Yaron Brook. He is the president and executive director of the Ayn Rand Institute. He's the co-author of an upcoming bestseller, keep your eyes peeled for it, called Free Market Revolution. And you can find out more at aynrand.org. That's AYNRAND.org. So let me help me introduce Yaron to the stage.
Thanks. Thank you all. And yeah, it is going to be a bestseller, and I need your help. So you can pre-order copies on Amazon as we speak on your phone. So I want to kind of leverage what you just heard from Eric and kind of use the material we just talked about to kind of take it to what I think is maybe a deeper level or the next level and build on the material we've already heard. One of the issues that I think exists out there in the whole, if you will, self-help industry, I mean, which is a huge industry, and it seems to ebb and flow in terms of the theories, and it's, as Eric mentioned, it's been around since the early part of the century. And hey, if they got it right, why do we still need more stuff, right? I mean, why isn't this a done deal? And I think that the whole phenomena brings up some interesting questions of why is there a need for this industry? Why is it so challenging, right? Why is it such that we keep getting these ups and downs, and we keep getting all this contradictory advice? And I think it goes back to something that Eric mentioned, and it's this notion that there are two kind of ways in which to view self-made, or to view self-help, or to view what it means to live a good life, what it means to live a life. And that is one, this Christian notion that ultimately the purpose of life is not your own well-being. Ultimately, you want to become good at whatever you want to do so you can help other people. So the focus of everything in life is other people. That's one approach that I think is very, very dominant in our culture. Think about Bill Gates, right? Think about Bill Gates making billions and billions of dollars in the 1980s and 1990s. How does he make his billions of dollars? He makes it by creating a product. And what does he do with that product? How do you make money? How do you make money? General question. You what? Sell millions of copies, but there has to be an assumption, right? Because if it costs me $100 to produce something and I sell millions of copies for $1, do I make millions? No. So what I have to be able to sell it for what? For a profit, which means above whatever it costs me to make, right? And it has to be a good enough product so people value it more than what? Their money. More than their money. So if I sell you a piece of software for $100, it has to be worth more than $100 to the person who buys it. And in Bill Gates' case, anybody have an assessment of how much that piece of software actually was worth to people who bought it in the 80s and 90s? So you paid $100, let's say, for Word or for DOS or for something like that. How much was it worth to the person buying it? A lot. I mean, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, a lot. Maybe even millions. Because it changed your life. Because it changed computers. And it changed everybody's life. And suddenly we were all networked. Suddenly you didn't have to have a typewriter. You guys are too young to even know what that is, I know. But it's those old things where you clunk. Suddenly everything changed. And the value of that piece of software is a lot more than $100. So here is Bill Gates. He's making all of our lives infinitely better. Infinitely better. And he's making gazillions of dollars doing that. And as a culture, what do we think of him? Going back to that culture. I mean, is he a good guy? Is this a guy, we all think he's a great businessman. We all want to be gazillionaires, right? But is he a good guy, right? Is he like, are we going to build statues to him? Are we going to praise him to the hilt? Is this like, Mother Teresa's over here. Where's Bill Gates? Right? Way down there, right? I mean, he's not morally, from an ethical perspective, from the kind of, the view of what goodness is, Bill Gates doesn't rank. He's made all of our lives better, but he's made money at it, so it doesn't count. When does he become a good guy? When he gives it away. And that's that view, 19th century Christian view. It's okay to make billions, only if you land up giving it away. Only if you land up serving other people. That's the purpose of life, is to serve other people. That's the essential. And if you make stuff, money, while serving other people, that's not that good. It's okay, but it's not that good. So, for example, you know microloans? These loans that people go into developing countries and they give these small little loans to very poor people, and they to help them start businesses and so on. And it's proved to be incredibly successful in really getting entrepreneurship going in poor countries. So there are companies that do it that are non-for-profit, and their success is so-so. And then there are companies that do it for profit, and they're phenomenally successful. But who is considered better? The non-profit, because they're not getting anything in return. So notice that we live in a culture that, in terms of respect, in terms of admiration, in terms of what gets moral, ethical, virtue points, right? You get them when you sacrifice. And what does the sacrifice mean? You give something, and what do you get in return? Nothing, or something less valuable, right? Because if you give something and you get more in return, what do we call that? Profit, we call it a trade, right? That's a trade. When I give you something and you give me something that's worth more to me, you got something more and I got something more, that's a trade, right? And that's a win-win. We're both better off. When I buy Microsoft product, Bill Gates is better off, I'm better off. It's a win-win. Sacrifice is lose-win, or win-lose, depending on what side of the sacrifice you're on, right? So, and that is way up here. That's up there with Mother Teresa, right? That's good. So we live in a culture where lose-wins are good, and win-wins are just okay. Kind of weird, right? Just doesn't, there's something strange about that. But think about relationships. Think about the value we place and just our terminology. We talk in hushed tones and with reverence towards people who sacrifice. How wonderful that is. In other words, losing is good. That comes out of this notion that your life is not your life. The only purpose to make your life better is to serve other people. The alternative to that has always been presented as, yeah, you should make the most of your life, and what that means is whatever you feel like it is, whatever you feel like doing, anything goes. There is no standard for determining what is a good life, right? Whether it's $1 billion, a hot woman, whether it's this career, that career, whatever you feel like doing is good. Feelings is the guide. Feelings is the motivation. If you think that a good life comes from lying, cheating, stealing, well, we don't advise it because you might get caught and stuff and go to jail, but who are we to say that that's not right? Anything goes. Anything's permissible. That's what being a self-made person is supposed to mean. And nobody actually says it, but it's because nobody actually tells you to go lie, steal, and cheat. Nobody would actually advocate for that. But the implication is that